Hi, today I have Christina Del Dasso, and we are going to be talking about women in trades. I'm so glad you got in touch with me because this is something that I really feel is important. Now, you are in the trades.
Yes, I studied to be in the skilled trades, but currently I'm doing marketing for the skilled trades.
For the HVACs.
For HVAC, yes, correct.
So she does go on ladders and she knows what she's talking about. But I mean, even we were talking, even skilled trades can be like aesthetics and hair. And I mean, get out there and use your hands, use your minds, use your energy and build something creative.
Absolutely. There's lots of jobs that people don't realize are skilled trades. Mm-hmm. I had no idea either until I attended the Ontario Skilled Trades competition, and that gave me an eye-opening to just what the possibilities are.
Now, what is that? I've never heard of that.
So there's two categories. There's a competition for the high school students, and there's also a competition for the college. And it's within Canada, so we have welders, we have florists, we have hairstylists, and they all compete, and it's just a great way to get yourself out there.
These are all trades that we are seriously lacking in the Windsor-Essex County area, like bricklaying and even landscape design and construction. There's not a lot of women in those areas.
I absolutely agree, and we're also at a time where a lot of the population is retiring from the skilled trades, so we do need to fill up that gap with women and with whoever else is interested.
Do you feel that there are more women that are willing to take these courses and to take these jobs?
I feel like it all starts with learning what's available, right? So these skilled trades competition shows and even just career expo shows that show you what skilled trades are out there, that gives like high school students a good opportunity to understand that there's more than just engineering or becoming a doctor or a lawyer.
And then OYAP.
Absolutely.
Some of the schools have that, and that allows them to try things out.
Absolutely. We have an OYAP student at my work currently who's doing plumbing. And then some of my skilled trades workers, like my nail technician and my hair artist, they also did OYAP, which allowed them to understand like what career possibilities are after.
Now, doing an OYAP program through high school, does that cut down on any of your time in college or university?
So it actually allows you to get your level 1 while you're still in high school. So it's almost like you graduate high school, but then you fast track your first year of your apprenticeship.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely.
Everybody likes that because then you end up saving some money too.
And time, right?
Yeah. For sure. I had somebody on here a year ago, and urban artistry, and she does carpentry and woodworking and beautiful work. And even she had said that we definitely need more people. And my son, he's a carpenter, and I don't hear him talking too much about having women in that area, which is sad.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I feel like, once again, it comes down to just not knowing what opportunities are out there. Some high schools have like carpentry classes or auto shop. And I know from my personal experience that I was removed from my auto program. My counselors warned me when I tried taking carpentry, and they told me that I would be one of the only girls in my class. So I feel like we're now moving out of a fear-based inquiry, and now we're trying to showcase women that it's not scary and you don't need to be super strong or physically fit. You can use your intelligence as well as your technical skills in any trade.
I'm glad that they've changed because I'm going to be 55, and the school I was at is no longer around, and it was a technical school, and you had your home ec or you had automotive or carpentry, and the mechanical side, the girls did not go. The guys were allowed to do home ec, but we weren't allowed to do their stuff. And it was never fair because I personally probably would have preferred to work in the
auto shop. Yeah, it's fun, right? Like you're working with your hands, and I know a lot of people that are auto mechanics. They've always had an inkling to just tear stuff apart, put them back together. So I feel like I like how we're not looking at gender anymore when it comes down to joining the trades, and we're working together with different perspectives. And I feel like one thing that all of us women can relate to is clothing. And I feel like we all have a pair of pants that have no pockets, right? Which we need pockets. And one thing that's important for women joining the skilled trades is proper like PPE gear. So there's a couple of Canadian content creators that are also in construction, and that's what they dedicate their page towards, showing the difference between men's clothing in the construction field and women's.
Oh, I've always loved a good cargo pant.
Right? All the pockets.
I know.
Yeah.
The phone goes in there, but and then you would have the tool belt. And now, how are the men accepting of the women coming into these fields?
They've had time to adjust and adapt, I would say. My dad is a tool and die maker, and I remember when I was younger, he would tell me about all the changes that would happen back then and till now. A huge change was no pinup model posters and calendars. So they've had a lot of that time to adjust certain things like that. And now when I went to trade school, I remember we have our own designated bathrooms where we have like tampons and pads and stuff, which is really inclusive. So we have our own designated spaces. And there's men that are looking to be like a mentor to anybody.
It's nice to hear that men are accepting and mentoring the women and that times are changing. Now, you are also part of the Women in Skilled Trades site?
We're called Women on Site.
Okay.
Yes. So we have a bunch of chapters all over Canada, and we've recently started expanding to the States, which is really exciting. It's a drop-in program that happens once a month. So we just started our Windsor chapter, I believe, back in November or December. And it's open to anyone in STEAM, so that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. I hope I said that all correctly. And it's available to apprentices or full-scale skilled trades workers. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. And it's a community of other women that are just there for mentorship and communication and community.
So that's a huge site. And I was peeking around on it, and they also have an area for jobs as well.
Yes, there's a job search network. They try to post any jobs where anyone can apply to, which is great.
We just did the pictures for the high school robotics competition, and there were quite a few girls on the various teams, but there was 2 teams that were specifically all women.
That's awesome. I love the robot flipping videos. They're so entertaining.
Very impressive what these high school kids were doing. And then I think it was probably about 90% of the photographers, which were kids from the high schools, were the girls.
That's awesome.
That were taking the pictures for their classes for the school and that.
That's great to hear, because even photography, sometimes it could feel very like male dominated. And it could be hard to like break into the fields as like a woman that's interested. So it's great to hear that there's more women in just different industries.
I'm just finding it's hard to get the women and the men to break the stigma. It's got to be men, well, we're just little, so we can't carry this stuff. Well, we're not as weak as what you might think.
Absolutely. And it's all about
Teamwork,
and it's all about transferable skills too, right? So let's say you can't carry something, maybe you can use like your networking and your communication skills to have someone else help you out, right?
Now, and you also do the marketing for the HVAC, so you have to get up there to take pictures, or what do you do to make you get onto the roofs?
I had a fear of heights before starting this job, and I remember on my first day I would climb a ladder, and I still climb ladders to get on top of roofs to take photos of our rooftop HVAC units. Which is basically like a big air conditioner unit. And it was kind of scary at first, but as long as you have 3-point contact, you're all good. It's scarier coming down. And I always tell myself, if I don't get down, I don't want to call the fire department to come get me. That'd be so embarrassing. But it was definitely getting over my fear of heights. And when it comes down to like new construction condos, I find that sometimes I'm the only woman on that site. So it comes down to my communication skills of introducing myself to like the site supervisor, saying, hi, I'm not health and safety, I'm actually with marketing, so you don't have to worry about me. And yeah, I go about, I take my photos, and then I go back to the office and edit them, and I put them into like our social channels and stuff.
So do you work for one specific company or do you work with various companies?
So I
in
work for
marketing?
one specific company in Windsor, and then I also do marketing and photography with my own business on the side.
And what type of photography do you do?
So for my own business, Chaos by Eris, I like to do creative portraits. It's just something that I'm drawn to.
They're so much fun.
They're so cool.
They
yeah.
really are. Now, how did you come up with that name? Because that's really a
Thank
really
you.
interesting name.
I have a lot of people calling me Eris. I wish my name was Eris. It's so much cooler than Christina. But I drew from the War of Art by, I believe it's Stephen Pressfield. And I also drew from Greek mythology. So Eris is the goddess of destruction and chaos. And I know it's kind of crazy, but I find with chaos comes clarity. So I feel like when it comes down to art, there's so much chaos that happens, but then there's a beautiful end product.
That's really well said. Because I was looking at your site and you do have some wonderful, wonderful shots. And
Thank you.
That's a lot of hard work too.
Yes, and
And a lot
I
of technical.
find I work against imposter syndrome all the time. So I'm getting over the fear of not feeling enough or not posting enough, not being creative enough, and I'm just trying to do my own thing.
I really do appreciate you being here. And it's so important to have women in skilled trades and to realize that we can do it. The men are there to help us and to support us and to allow us to become part of the team. And it's nice to hear that it's finally starting to sway that way.
Well said, yes.
And they can find also more information about it on Women on Site.
Womenonsite.ca, yes, correct. And you can RSVP if you'd like to join our Windsor chapter meetings, which happen monthly.
Now, are you involved in that site or are you just part of the chapter?
I'm part of the chapter, and it is sponsored by Build a Dream. So they are the ones that run our chapter.
And if you have a daughter or a female relative and they're in high school, tell them to try out the OYAP program or give it a shot in college. I mean,
And it opens your opportunities, right?
we always need carpenters and electricians and welders, so it's not like you're going to go out of business.
Absolutely, right? With AI advancing, we're always going to need people to have hands-on skills.
So thank you so much, Christina. I really do appreciate you being on here and to
Thank you, Tracy.
bringing this awareness to us. And I'm going to make sure to have more women tradeswomen.
Tradespeople, yeah, that's okay.
But my name is Tracy, and I want to thank you so much for joining me for another episode of YQG in Bloom. And you guys all have a great day.